What if Hollywood's powerful transformations happened long before the cameras began rolling? Behind famous roles, magazine covers, and protected public images were people fighting for something more valuable than applause, the freedom to be recognized honestly. Some spoke as transgender women and changed American culture. Others lived in eras when revealing whom they loved could destroy a career. These 8 stories are not about shock or scandal. They are about courage, privacy, survival, and the human cost of being seen. Jennings entered America's living rooms at only 6 years old, when Barbara Walters interviewed her and her family for a 2007 television report about transgender children. At an age when most children struggle to explain ordinary emotions, Chaz calmly communicated something she had understood for years. She was a girl. Her parents listened, sought professional guidance, and allowed her to live openly, providing support that many transgender children of earlier generations never received. Public visibility brought opportunity, but it also placed Chaz's childhood under intense scrutiny. Through the TLC series I Am Chaz, viewers watched her navigate school, friendships, medical decisions, mental health, and family life. The program did not present growth as effortless. It showed that acceptance can coexist with complicated choices, setbacks, and ordinary uncertainty. In 2014, Time named Chaz among its most influential teenagers. She also co-authored a children's book, helped advocate for transgender youth, and challenged policies that prevented her from playing on a girls' soccer team. Her significance extends beyond celebrity. Her honesty helped older Americans replace stereotypes with human understanding, compassion, and respect. As Chaz matured, she spoke about anxiety, depression, weight changes, and the pressure of growing up before cameras. That openness complicated any simplistic success story. Support from family did not shield her from every difficulty, and visibility did not guarantee confidence. Her experience reminds parents and grandparents that listening is essential, but young people also need privacy, patience, and care. Caitlyn Jenner was known to generations of Americans before she publicly shared her identity in 2015. As an Olympic decathlon champion, television personality, parent, and member of one of America's most photographed families, she had spent decades performing strength under public attention. Her announcement therefore reached viewers who may never have knowingly listened to a transgender person describe the cost of hiding. Jenner explained that questions about her gender had followed her since childhood, even during the athletic triumphs that made her famous. Public recognition brought relief, but it also produced commentary about her appearance, family, politics, and responsibility as a transgender woman. Her reality series, I Am Kate, followed parts of that adjustment and introduced audiences to other transgender women with experiences very different from her privileged life. Her legacy remains complicated. Many LGBTQ+ advocates have challenged her political positions and questioned whether her statements reflect the needs of transgender people facing poverty, discrimination, or limited health care. Jenner has also said that she does not claim to represent every transgender person. That distinction allows viewers to respect her identity without treating one celebrity as the voice of an entire community. For older Americans, her story demonstrates that self-recognition has no expiration date. A person may achieve medals, raise a family, and build a public identity while still carrying an unspoken truth. Living honestly later in life does not erase earlier chapters. It changes how those chapters are understood. For millions of viewers, Laverne Cox changed television the moment Sophia Bursette appeared in Orange is the New Black. Yet the authority she brought to that role came from a journey shaped by hardship, art, and extraordinary persistence. Raised in Mobile, Alabama, Cox loved dance and feminine expression while enduring bullying from classmates who believed she should behave differently. Religious shame and isolation became overwhelming, and at age 11, she attempted to end her life. She survived, eventually finding refuge in creativity, education, and performance. After studying dance and acting, Cox built her career through small television appearances, independent projects, and reality programming. Her breakthrough as Sophia made her the first openly transgender performer nominated for a Primetime Emmy in an acting category. More important, she gave many families a compassionate introduction to a transgender character whose dignity could not be reduced to one storyline. Cox then used her visibility to advocate for equality, safety, and respectful representation. She has never suggested that authenticity erased every wound. Instead, she has spoken about healing as continuing work, performed with public courage. Her influence reached beyond awards and celebrity. By appearing on talk shows, magazine covers, documentaries, and public stages, Cox invited audiences to examine how race, class, gender, and opportunity intersect. For older viewers unfamiliar with transgender experiences, her calm explanations offered an accessible doorway. She asked people not merely to notice her success, but to recognize the barriers surrounding others. Chaz Bono grew up as the child of entertainers Sonny Bono and Cher, appearing on television before he was old enough to control how America perceived him. That visibility made his decision to discuss his identity significant. After years of advocacy within the gay community, Bono came out as transgender in 2009 and began living as a man. His transition was documented in the film Becoming Chaz, which followed medical decisions, family conversations, and the work of replacing an identity others had assigned to him. The documentary helped viewers understand that transition affects relationships as well as the individual. Yet it never made a relative's adjustment more important than Bono's right to live honestly. Cher has spoken about needing time to understand, while affirming her love for her son. Bono later competed on Dancing with the Stars, becoming the program's first transgender contestant. His participation placed a transgender man in a familiar television format where audiences could judge his persistence and performance instead of treating his existence as an abstract debate. He continued acting, writing, and advocating while navigating commentary about his body. For families, Bono's story offers a practical lesson. Love can remain real while language, expectations, and memories change. Adjustment should never become an excuse for rejection. Parents may grieve an imagined future, but their child is still present, asking to be known accurately. Respect grows through corrected names, patient listening, and the willingness to keep learning together. Elliot Page had earned an Academy Award nomination, starred in films, and built an audience before announcing in 2020 that he is transgender. His message was joyful. He expressed gratitude for embracing himself while acknowledging discrimination and violence confronting transgender people. The announcement invited longtime viewers to recognize the same performer with a name and identity that reflected his truth. Page later described how public scrutiny, expectations, and discomfort with gender presentation had affected his mental health throughout his career. In his memoir, Page Boy, he connected personal memories with the pressures of an entertainment business that often demanded a marketable version of identity. His decision to speak openly was not simply a career update, it was an effort to reclaim authorship over a life interpreted by strangers. The Netflix series, The Umbrella Academy, incorporated his transition by allowing his character to become Victor Hargreaves. The change was handled without turning Victor's identity into a sensational plot device, offering viewers a straightforward example of respectful inclusion. Page has also used interviews and public appearances to support transgender youth and challenge policies restricting their lives. His experience carries particular meaning for parents and grandparents. Names and pronouns may feel unfamiliar at first, but respectful effort communicates love. Page's story shows that listening does not require understanding every detail immediately. It begins by accepting that people know themselves, allowing them room to speak, and choosing compassion over assumptions inherited from an earlier era. American audiences first encountered Carmen Carrera on the third season of RuPaul's Drag Race. At that time, the program framed her through drag performance, but after filming, she publicly embraced life as a transgender woman. That distinction matters. Drag is an art form, while gender identity describes a person's understanding of herself. Carrera's evolution in public required viewers to release the character they remembered and recognize the woman speaking for herself. She soon built a modeling and television career while pressing the entertainment industry to treat transgender people with greater respect. Carrera publicly criticized a drag race segment whose language she considered demeaning. The response was divided, and some fans interpreted her criticism as disloyalty. She maintained that affection for former colleagues did not require silence when language caused harm. Carrera later emphasized that transition did not mean erasing every image from her earlier life. She has discussed keeping old photographs and viewing them as chapters in one continuous story. That perspective gives her journey unusual emotional depth. Reinvention, in her telling, is not self-rejection. It is self-recognition and freedom. Her ambitions also challenged fashion's narrow standards. Supporters petitioned Victoria's Secret to hire her, arguing that a transgender model could represent beauty without being treated as a novelty. Although the campaign did not produce that contract, it revealed public expectations. Carrera's presence helped move the conversation from whether transgender women belonged in fashion toward how fairly the industry welcomed them. At nearly 6 feet 8 inches tall, Erika Ervin spent years being noticed before strangers understood anything meaningful about her. Modeling as Amazon Eve turned the characteristic that once attracted teasing into a professional advantage. Acting then expanded her audience, particularly through American Horror Story, Freak Show, where she played a woman whose strength and stature were central to the show's unforgettable visual world. Ervin's casting carried an achievement the source story overlooks. She was a transgender actress portraying a cisgender woman, not a performer hired only to reenact transition. That opportunity allowed her talent and physical presence to matter more than a familiar Hollywood label. She has described disclosing her transgender identity after she was cast, complicating claims that she auditioned while pretending to be a man. Her personal path included painful family rejection. Ervin has said that coming out led many relatives to cut contact, so she built a chosen family among friends who recognized her fully. She also learned to reject unrealistic expectations about how a woman, model, or actress should look, live, or succeed publicly today. Ervin's story broadens the meaning of representation. She does not fit the petite physical ideal Hollywood has traditionally assigned to women, yet her height became inseparable from her identity. For viewers who have spent years feeling too tall, too different, or too visible, her career offers reassurance. The feature once treated as an obstacle can become a source of presence. Geena Rocero had already established herself as a successful fashion model when she walked onto the TED stage in 2014 and disclosed publicly that she was transgender. Colleagues, clients, and even her agent had known her simply as Geena. Revealing her history meant risking a career she had carefully constructed, yet concealing it had begun to feel incompatible with the advocacy she wanted to pursue. Raised in Manila, Rocero recognized herself as a girl when she was young and found space for gender expression through beauty pageants in the Philippines. She later moved to the United States, obtained documents reflecting her identity, and entered professional modeling. The industry celebrated her appearance without understanding the personal history behind it. Her TED Talk transformed secrecy into purpose. Rather than presenting herself as someone who had suddenly become a woman, Rocero explained that her public declaration continued a lifelong understanding of who she was. She founded Gender Proud to advocate for people seeking accurate gender markers and expanded her work into producing, writing, and storytelling. Her story argues for another principle: chosen disclosure. That principle is important because no public figure owes strangers a history. Rocero chose to speak when she felt prepared and when her experience could support change. Her memoir and screen projects later explored memory, migration, pageant culture, and belonging with greater detail. Together, they show that disclosure can be empowering when control remains with the person sharing the story. These lives remind us that identity is not entertainment for strangers. It is a truth each person has the right to reveal in safety and dignity. Which story changed your understanding of Hollywood history, and which figure should we explore next? Share your thoughts respectfully below. If stories about classic stars and cultural change matter to you, please like this video, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter together.